So hello and welcome to the Maths Guide, and in this video I want to show you how you go through the first day's exercise. So first of all, you go do your assignments. I click on assignments. I may or may not have any assignments there. I would do them. Begins in the next 24 hours. Okay, I don't need to do that yet. Let's have a look. Review the following video and then complete the following exercises. So that's the one I want to do. I'm paid up. Or if I was for free, I would click on the following worksheets. But I've paid for the feedback and the revision, so I'm going to click on the following exercises. So this is the maths training page. This is me, my name, and here are the questions that I need to answer. So warm up, adding and subtracting. John has 1 more apples than Mary. If Mary has 12 apples, how many apples does John have? Well, just to show you what the situation is here, we don't really need to go into it for this question, but we might want to look at examples and help. So in this question, we're asked to do basic addition, and we're told the question in English, and we're given a formula that we can use to calculate the answer. So the idea here is that in this question is very easy, so you don't really need a formula. However, as questions become less easy to understand, when we start using negative numbers as well as positive numbers, having a formula is very useful, and that's why we're using them now. So the formula we have here, we're told that John has 13 more apples than Mary. Mary has 11 apples. How many apples does John have? Well, John has more apples than Mary, so I would add how many more John has to how many Mary has to find out the total. That might seem very obvious now, but when you're dealing with less easy to understand questions like with negative numbers, having a formula is very useful. So we're going to be adding the two numbers. So let's go back to the exercise. So the first question, John has 1 more apples. So what are we doing? We're adding those two numbers together. Okay, so I answered the question, I got my score. Let's add these two numbers together. 15 and 1 is 16. Enter 2, add them together, add them together, add them together, add together. 26, 25, 13, 12 and 14 is 26. And there you go, you've finished that exercise, and we're on to the next one. Okay, so I've got my score of 10 here. And that means that I've completed this exercise and I'm moving on to the next exercise, warm up, adding and subtracting. So in this question, we have the same situation. John has 18 more apples than Mary, but this time, instead of telling you how many apples Mary has and finding out how many John has, we're told how many John has, and we need to work out backwards to find out how many Mary has. So we're given the formula here, how many John has, and you subtract how many more John has to find out how many Mary has. This might seem reasonable, easy to you, but the idea here is that there's lots of questions that you know how to answer them, but you need to think, what exactly am I doing every time I'm answering that? And that way you can create a formula, and then you can use that formula in situations that are more difficult. This question, you simply find out how many apples John has, which is 28, and you subtract how many more John has, 18, to find out how many Mary has. So the answer to this would be 28, subtract 18, which is 10. This one, 35 minus 18, 17, 26 minus 16, 21 minus 10, 24 minus 13, 17 minus 8, 3 minus 2, 14 minus 7, 23 minus 4, 18 minus 8, and you're complete that. Okay, so that's that question done. Moving on to question 3. Okay, John has 2 apples, Mary has 1 apple. How many more apples does John have than Mary? To answer this question, you would take the number of apples that John has and subtract the number of apples that Mary has. The idea is you already know how to do this, but you're making it formal in your mind that this is exactly what you're doing. You're saying the answer would be the 2 apples minus these 1 apples, and in that way you'll be able to answer this question. You can have a look at the examples and help if we're not sure. So again, we're looking at the relationship between Mary and John. This discusses what the first and second questions were like, and in this third question we're asked the difference. Again, we're given a formula, and the idea again is that this is an easy question to understand, and when we have an easy question we can make a formula, and then we can use the formula in a situation where it's harder to answer it, like using negative numbers. But in this situation it's just going to be 2 minus 1 is 1. 26 minus 9 is equal to 17. 26 minus 14, 12. And you can see you get the right answers, you get a score. Let's have a little look at what happens if you get the wrong answer. It marks it in red, so you know you have the wrong answer, and you lose a point. You go back down to 2 points. But you can keep trying. What am I trying to do here? Okay, there's no point just guessing, but we have a formula. How many John has minus how many Mary has. So that's going to be 9 minus 2. So this indication here that tells you you've got a question wrong, it lets you know when you have a question wrong and a question right, but don't just keep guessing. Try and figure it out properly. 9 minus 2 is 7. 35 minus 17, 14 minus 7, 11 minus 4 is 7. Okay, score going up. You'll notice it took a few more extra questions now because those questions that we got wrong don't give us any scores, and we also lost a point for getting one of those questions wrong, and we had to go from there again. 24 minus 11 is 13. 19 minus 18 is 1. There you go. You've completed the Monday exercise. So remember, you need to do all these questions here, and you can look at the examples and help. If you have some difficulty and you want a little bit of extra help, maybe that'll help you. And you can also change the color of the screen or the size of the font if that helps you as well. Okay, so the best of luck and enjoy the questions.